Okay, there's a lot going on with UFOs today, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I'll talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments below. By the way, I hope you guys had a great 4th of July. To start with, July 8th is World UFO Disclosure Day, according to Paradigm Research Group. I love it. Every day needs to be UFO Disclosure Day. What is the purpose of this? In this instance, disclosure refers to the formal acknowledgement by world governments of an ET presence engaging the human race, but could well refer to a long list of concerns, the truths of which still lie behind the walls of secrecy. The purpose of World Disclosure Day is to provide a focal point for people and organizations to come together to assert their right to know and demand cosmic truths being withheld from them by their governments. It will also help broaden public awareness of the disclosure process in those organizations advocating for the truth on behalf of all citizens. In time, various relevant events may come to be scheduled on this day. So yeah, very interesting. I wonder what those relevant events will be. Either way, I'll link to this in the comments below. Meanwhile, check this out. This is pretty wild. Las Vegas Spaceport gets FAA approval. Here's what will soon be landing at the Strip. That's right. The development of a commercial spaceport near Las Vegas is another step closer to liftoff after it was approved by federal regulators. The proposed port will be located on 240 acres of rural land outside the city and will be around 15 minutes from the city's famed Strip by helicopter and 15 minutes by car. Once constructed, the project will hold several space planes and will have hangar space for other space vehicles, the company's SEC filing stated, according to the outlet. Space Perspective, a travel company, is already selling rides on their 10-person capsule. The company has sold about 1,200 of these at $125,000 each. Spaceport officials claim they can conduct 15 flights a month with 6 passengers per flight. The project will also include a space pilot school, STEM academy, hotel, restaurant, a rooftop observation deck, and a research and development company. That's right, we're living in the age of spaceports, guys. I mean, that's pretty crazy stuff. I mean, of course, it cost $125,000, but hey, it's a step in the right direction, I guess, if we want to take a little jaunt into space. By the way, buy a t-shirt. Meanwhile, Richard Dolan does not like the change in terminology from disclosure to transparency.
That really is where this is headed for. So we go from UFO to UAP, we go from disclosure to transparency, we go from UFO disclosure to UAP transparency. And there's a lot of political and social implications in that transition. It's look, a little dance has just been done without people really even being fully aware that this has happened. It's a linguistic shift. On the one hand, when we hear about UAP transparency, it's you hear these politicians talking about transparency, and it seems that they are speaking to a society that is more and more skeptical of the government, you know, and they act as if they're kind of on board with that. It's like, yes, the public deserves transparency on this matter. That really.
So what do you think? Is transparency a softening of disclosure? Some sort of adjustment, some sort of official adjustment to get people situated mentally for transparency? You know, the government opening up a little bit as opposed to full-on disclosure. I think that's a really interesting idea. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Meanwhile, it looks like CNN might start reporting on UFOs more, or at least the process going on in Congress. At least I hope so. Let's give a listen.
Now, over in the Senate, the Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Republican Mike Rounds also pushing for more disclosure. But this year's defense bill does not go as far. While the bill would require the government to disclose the sightings to the National Archives, eventually some of those becoming public, it does give federal agencies and the president significant latitude to keep such sightings classified. Why? A congressional source says it was House Intelligence Committee Chairman Mike Turner who resisted the push for greater disclosure.
There you go. Even CNN is blaming Mike Turner. I love it. Meanwhile, you know the tall whites that are said to be at Area 51, according to Charles Hall and various others, mainly Charles Hall, Well, this UFO channel, UFO Sightings Daily, believes they may have found the location of the tall white colony or settlement. This is very interesting. If this is real, I'm shocked that it's not scrubbed from Google Maps. But maybe they missed something. Maybe they missed something. He zones into this structure right here. This intriguing structure. And he believes this may be the settlement. So I thought that was super interesting. Are the tall whites still there? If they were there back when Charles Hall was there, if his information is accurate, and I tend to believe Charles Hall, are they still there? Is there an ongoing alien presence at Area 51? I've read and heard about the Dumbs and the alien activity that is said to be at the Dumbs, where there are supposed to be multiple races of beings living underground. And like each level is situated to their environment and their atmosphere, which kind of makes sense, I guess. But if that's true, then it's interesting that the tall whites prefer to live above ground, seemingly. So, yeah, let me know what you think, and I'll link to this channel, and you can watch it at your leisure. Look at his information and see what you think. Is this indeed the colony or some sign of the settlement of the tall whites at Area 51? Meanwhile, another great UFO sighting shared by Peter Maxwell Slattery of Australia. He has this Jaya Sanctuary, and anybody can go there and do CE5 with Peter Maxwell Slattery himself. And this is one of the contacts that they've had recently. So thank you, Peter, for sharing this with us. Hopefully someday I can get a chance to go down to Jaya Sanctuary and give it a shot myself. If you have, let me know how it went for you. Speaking of UFOs, this isn't a recent UFO sighting, but it was on the 4th of July in 2020, I believe. So check it out. This is in Phoenix, where you have this interesting UFO that it descends and then it stays in place for a while and then it descends again. So is this some sort of flare? Can this be explained by skydivers or something like that? So many UFO sightings do have explanations like that. Skydivers are really a menace. But this is an interesting sighting, and I have never seen the debunk on it. So if you have, let me know in the comments below. Meanwhile, could there be a 27,000-year-old tunnel under Gunung Padang? I'm probably butchering that name, I'm sorry. But check this out, from Jimmy Corsetti. Göbekli Tepe is not alone. Gunung Padang, the world's oldest pyramidal structure, is facing insane opposition to fully excavate. Ground-penetrating radar identified a potential 27,000-year-old subterranean tunnel leading to a chamber. Yet many establishment archaeologists are bizarrely pretending there's nothing to see here. Graham Hancock brought the site international attention in Netflix's Ancient Apocalypse series. Yeah, it was a really great part of Ancient Apocalypse where they had this reconstruction of Gunung Padang. Oh my God, yes, I apologize. That's as close as I can get. But really, a great episode of Ancient Apocalypse, or a segment from Ancient Apocalypse. And this is really interesting. If there is a 27,000-year-old tunnel, obviously that's not confirmed or corroborated. But if that's true, the level of sophistication and technology that would be needed for such a thing, you would think 27,000 years ago would far surpass any known human technology of the time. Maybe they were helped along by the Denisovans or something like that. The Denisovans do seem to have been more technologically advanced, based on what little we know of them, than the humans of the time. So it's not clear to me if this long tubular structure is the 27,000-year-old tunnel, although I don't think so, because this chamber is indicated and the tunnel is said to lead to the chamber. So I would imagine it would be a shorter tunnel leading to that chamber. But let me know your thoughts or insight in the comments below. If you don't know what I'm talking about with the Denisovans, this bracelet, which was thought to have been made by them, is dated, or thought to be dated, to about 40,000 years old, and was of a sophistication not currently in use by humans of the time. They seem to have been far advanced than the humans of the time. So it wouldn't surprise me if maybe they did help out some humans with some high technology, just a thought. Or maybe it has a more alien explanation. I'm talking, of course, about Gung Batang. Meanwhile, the Kardashians believe in UFOs. The Kardashians believe in UFOs from the Daily Mail. Most of the family gets into a heated ski trip discussion about aliens after a bizarre Miami shadow aliens incident. It seems the Kardashians believe in life beyond this planet, with most of them confirming their beliefs in aliens and UFOs on this week's episode of the Hulu series. The family was having dinner out in Aspen when Kendall tried to... Anyway, I'm not going to go into the Kardashians, but I think it's awesome that the Kardashians are talking about UFOs. I think that that's one way to engage the mainstream's attention, is to get pop stars and idols to start talking about UFOs. I think that would legitimize it and make it cool, make it acceptable in some of the mainstream public's imagination. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Meanwhile, the French Excalibur is missing. That's right, the sword of Roland himself is missing. Durandal, the legendary sword of Roland, known as the French Excalibur, is missing from the small village feared stolen. After remaining 1,300 years wedged into a 32 feet high crack in the pleasant little French village, the sword of fabled medieval knight Roland has reportedly disappeared, and it's presumed to have been stolen. Durandal is the rough equivalent of Britain's Excalibur, which mythical King Arthur pulled from a rock to become king. But who it was that wrenched Durandal from the stone is a mystery that French police are trying to solve. So there you go. There is the legendary sword itself, which has a real special place in the hearts of many French people, is now gone. But interestingly, a new sword has been discovered. A really intriguing 3,000-year-old sword found in Germany. Really interesting. This beautiful green sword has been found in Bavaria. So an exciting archaeological find and a beautiful sword. And here's a new video of a UFO in Nevada. Let's see what you think.
I'm sitting in the Target parking lot, and this thing has just been stationary up in the sky in the little town that's about 30 miles away from where I live. Looks like it's kind of between here and there, maybe directly over there. I'm not sure. Sorry, my daughter's in the background singing. And this thing has just been stationary in the sky the entire time I've been here, which is like 10 minutes. I don't know if you can tell, but there's like an aura around it. On video, in like person and by the naked eye, it looks like there's an aura around it as well. It's almost like when you see heat coming off the asphalt, and almost kind of like dirty looking. That could just be a little bit of smog. Sometimes we have that in our skies, not super often, but it does seem to be centered around that spot in the sky, and it's just there. I asked someone who was walking by in the parking lot, do you see that? And they said they think it's a hot air balloon. It's possible, we have those in the area, but this thing has been in the exact same spot for more than 10 minutes now.
Yeah, very interesting sighting. Let me know what you think. And another UFO video, this one taken by a drone, supposedly. And interestingly, it moves away very quickly. So, hard to know if this is legit or not. It looks like it's too good to be true. So, my BS alarm kind of goes off on this one. But hey, you never know. I mean, there are UFOs and they do fantastic things. So let me know what you think. Meanwhile, has this fantastic crop circle been debunked? I love this crop circle. This is a beautiful crop circle. I mean, it's fantastic. Look at all that stuff. But was it in fact man-made? Well, check this out. An easy way to spot a fake: man-made trails leading to the formation. So this one does indeed look like it has little trails leading right to the formation. So as fantastic and lovely as this crop circle is, it does appear, based on that, let me know what you think, to have been man-made, which is too bad. But on the other hand, I gotta give props to whoever made this. Meanwhile, Ronnie Vernon gives us an update from the Amazon, where he has gone to collect data on the UFO flap gripping the villages there. One more day of hard work here in the indigenous village in the Amazon. Brutal heat as we install the UFO monitoring station. The routine is 12 hours building plus 8 hours of UFO observation vigil. Sleeping only 2 to 3 hours. It's crazy the things that are happening here every day. Well, I can't wait to hear about it, Ronnie, when you're up to telling it. Meanwhile, an artifact from Roswell may have been stolen. Breaking news from the UAP reporter. I just spoke with Frank Kimbler, who told me the Roswell crash artifact display at the UFO Museum was broken into. Among the items stolen was a piece of debris Frank donated, similar to the one presented on Discovery. So I think this is probably true, and that is super unfortunate. We've got stolen swords, and we have stolen pieces of possible UFO debris. Meanwhile, remember the time when Bill Tompkins tried to convince Chris Bledsoe that the world was run by evil reptilians? Well, there is a response to that from the interview with Logan Paul. Why do you think the government has this agenda to try to put this in your head? About what Tompkins had to say. Chris says, to put what in my head? This mumbo jumbo about reptilians and stuff like that. Chris says, and remember, this information originally came from Ryan Bledsoe, his son, so Chris has never really responded publicly to this. But Chris said, I don't know if it is the government. The government is millions and millions of people, and most of them are your mom and your grandma, your mailman. But there are a few up there, for whatever reason, I don't claim that being our government doing anything such as that, it can be coming from anywhere. Is it true? I don't know. I think this reptilian thing, if it's real or if they're shapeshifters, but here again, I'm speculating. It's not in my swim lane. I stay out of that. The only thing I focus on is what's happening with me now and how to communicate with it. What it's saying and how to share it with you and others that come here. Amazing how people are experiencing it with me. We just had 75 people on a beach down in North Carolina. I told them it would appear at 8:30, and it did in a huge way. I filmed it for an hour coming up out of the ocean sometimes, jumping a mile up and down the beach, and flew right over our heads. So there you go. There's what Chris had to say in response to that. I've always been kind of curious, and I missed this section on his interview with Logan Paul. So let me know what you think about his response. He really kind of sidestepped the question a little bit and said it was outside of his swim lane. And he turned the conversation to focusing on things that he did know about and was actually doing, which, hey, is actually probably a pretty smart play. If you don't know about something, talk about something you do know. Speaking of wanting to do CE5 with somebody, I would love to do CE5 with Chris Bledsoe. Let me know what you think about it all in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I sure would appreciate it. Smash the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media, Facebook and Twitter, links below. Love to see you guys there. If you wanted to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, consider grabbing a coffee mug or a t-shirt in the merch store below. A lot of t-shirts if you want me to go to space. Or you can become a channel member. Channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you so much. Meanwhile, there are plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.